Hey guys, we are with Richard Carter and we are looking at his 1931 Ford Model A Roadster and some of the other toys he's got. Let's do it. All right, what we got first, Richard?
First thing we have here in the shop is a 1971 50cc Honda Mini Trail, and it's called the Honda Monkey. This was called the Monkey series. Small, agile, for people that's small and agile. Anyway, I purchased this over in Seminole, Oklahoma a few months ago, and it had been sitting inside of a barn for approximately 25 years. And went through the process. We had to clean the fuel system out of the tank, tune up parts and things of that nature, points, plugs, condensers, adjustments, carburetor, carburation, and things of that nature. It's a functioning, running bike. It runs really well, and a lot of fun to ride it if somebody smaller than me can get on it.
So, but I have seen you on this.
Yes.
Now, so so it does fit you though.
Yes. I can ride it.
Yeah.
I'm a very big guy on a small motorcycle, but I can ride this. A bigger guy can ride it.
Is there any plans for it in the future on this bike?
Basically, on this bike, I want to keep it all original.
Yeah.
It's a 1971 model. Everything you see is original. I replaced the carburetor. However, I do have the original carburetor over here. I plan to build and put back on the bike.
Are you going to put it back? Cool.
Put it back on, recondition the carburetor, and put it back on. This carburetor is only temporary to get everything functioning. And what I plan to do is let my grandkids ride it. They're small and they ride it. I have an 1.25 acre lot here, and they have plenty of room to ride without always having to get on the street, which our streets are very low maintenance out here.
Yeah.
There's not many cars, as you know. You're my neighbor. Mm-hmm. But that's basically what the plans are, and when they tire of it, I'll probably put it up for sale. This bike, I failed to mention, this bike was purchased in Japan.
Really?
Yes, this bike is from Japan. The gentleman was a small child.
Yeah.
And his father purchased this for him while he was in Japan, due to the father was in the military over there. And
okay.
This bike come directly from Japan. It wasn't through a dealership.
Oh wow.
So this is a true Japanese bike.
This is a cool bike. I appreciate you showing it to me. I think your grandkids are gonna have fun on it.
And it's a lot of fun, it really is.
Yeah. All right, so we got a 1953 Cushman Springer Eagle. Tell me the story on this one.
The story on this one is quite a long story. I rode this very bike, to Dale Schools when I was probably a pre-driving, in the pre-driving years, probably 14, 15 years old. I rode this many miles. However, I only lived a mile from the school, and it was handy to go to school and back and forth to school on. And anyway, subsequently, I became a driver and began driving cars, of course, and this was no longer of interest to very much. And I pushed this in the shed at the farm.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's where they left it. When the folks left the farm, this was in the shed. The shed falls down partly, and the bike was still there when I visited the farm. I went into the military and started life out here at South Rock Creek, and very, very many years later, probably 40 years later, I find the bike with the handlebars sticking up through some rubble.
At the barn?
And my wife and I, at the barn.
Okay.
And my wife and I, it's a big shed, but it was, we pulled the bike out of there, things with the chain, with the pickup, and we began the process of rebuilding this thing. This is the Springer. The reason they call it the Springer Eagle is because the springs in the front suspension were prevalent, and they engineered those until about around 1955, when they started putting shocks,
Yeah.
and it runs really well. Gathered up the parts. I built this engine myself, and it's a
Now, how fast does this Cushman go?
my friend Washburn, Mr. Washburn down here, Dan Washburn's his name on the corner.
Yeah.
He has a 1971 Kawasaki. We took off down Vincent Park Road and caught me at 45.
Okay.
So it still goes with a young child.
That's pretty good.
With a young child, with me, I weighed about half what I weigh now. Okay, so I'm sure it will do that, or even a little bit better. But it's a neat old bike. It will go to my son.
That's awesome. I really like this. Thanks for showing me this. All right, so now we have the 1931 Ford Model A Roadster. Tell me about this.
This, my wife and I were in Branson, Missouri. She wanted to go to Branson last fall.
Okay.
Excuse me, last spring.
Okay.
Till the middle of the summer. And I'm going, and then I remembered I saw a Model A that was in a small town up there. And I go, sure, let's go to Branson. And long story short, we took a small trip up to Nixa, Missouri, a small town north of, I think it's northeast of Branson.
Yeah.
And this was advertised in it. And anyway, we found the fella that had it for sale. I'm the third owner.
Only the third owner.
This was his.
This is awesome.
This was his grandfather's car. Excuse me. This was his uncle's car.
And then he was the owner, and then now you. Okay.
He was the owner. The family of the uncle didn't know what to do with it. It was in a barn, not running, and the nephew buys the car from the family, and he enjoys it for 3 years or so. He gets it running again, and anyway, he tires it. He has some other projects that he wanted to fix and to repair, and he decided he wasn't using this, driving it much. So he put it up for sale, and that's the story of how we purchased it. In fact, a little bit in error, and that is around July 4th, because we came home. I have a motor home, and I was pulling my Jeep behind the motor home, and I couldn't take the Model A with us. So I left it at the gentleman's house. I went ahead and purchased it, and came home, and July the 4th, we took the pickup and we trailered it back here July 5th. And long story short, it's a 90% complete Model A. The only thing I could find any difference in is these wheels are a smaller wheel. I believe instead of the 19-inch come on this originally, and these are 17s. So the wheels and tires are a little bit smaller, but as you can see, it makes the car look better than having the bigger wheels.
Yeah, I like it like this.
Style wheels, except the originals that came on this were 2 inches larger. And
Okay.
all the rest of it, I can't find anything that other than that's not original. It has all the original. The engine is a 4-cylinder inline engine, and transmission, drivetrain, everything's original.
Have you won any awards with this car yet? I mean, you've only had it for 6 months, but
I did win a prize over in
did you?
Bank First car show over in Tecumseh with the summer.
Really? Wow.
Anyway, I really enjoy driving this car. It's so much fun. And, you know, even the horn works.
Well, can we take it for a spin?
Sure.
All right, let's hop in. All right, so tell us about your history with cars.
Well, I've been a car enthusiast, automobile enthusiast, since I was probably before 10 years old. Being from a large family, my brothers always had had fairly nice cars that I got to drive even before I had a driver's license.
Yeah.
And I've had some sort of either an antique or a sports car since I was in my teens.
Yeah.
And I'm just a automobile enthusiast. I love all types of automobiles. No matter whether they're old or sports cars or sedans. I just love all cars. I even love some of the new ones.
So wait, when did you really get into it? Start building and fabricating cars.
Basically, the first automobile I built myself. I started. My knowledge was attained at a garage in downtown Shawnee, Oklahoma. Where the current York alternator place is. And the gentleman that owned the shop, I was a young man when he hired me, and our specialty was race boats, and we built hot rods and made hot rod engines and as a speed shop. And anyway, that's where I really got the bug and know-how to do different things. And then later on, of course, I had some training and self-training. Just go do it. The first car I built was a 1938 Ford Coupe. From rail, from the frame and everything up. Corvette engine in it, automatic transmission, things of that nature. And I sold that for profit.
Yeah.
MGs, several MGs I built, enjoyed, sold. I can't name all the cars because there's so many. Not all of them were built from ground up. My brother-in-law at the time was a painter, and I did all the mechanical. Requirements, and he did the painting requirements. And we kind of traded off. On his cars, I would get them running for him here.
Oh, nice.
So we did that in the 80s and early 90s.
Okay.
And after that, I just bought and cleaned up, painted, had them paint. I'm not a painter. I only do the mechanical. But, basically, that's kind of what happened. And I started enjoying cars in early life. I have another 1948 car, a pickup. It's a 1948 Ford, which is the first year of the F1 series.
Yeah.
We really like that.
So what's your biggest award with all your cars throughout your...
Oh, probably the biggest award, probably in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I had a 1957 Buick, and I won a fairly large trophy and a $200 prize.
That's awesome.
That was probably about the biggest one. Most of my cars that weren't all show cars, they were drivers.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed them. And when I didn't drive them too much anymore, I would sell them and get something else and enjoy that. So that's kind of the story of why I had so many cars throughout the years, from when I was your age all the way up to.
That's awesome.
I'm just an old kid now.
That's the best kind of kid. Hey guys, we are doing a giveaway, and we're giving one of you guys a limited edition signed Daily Dad hoodie. All you need to do is you need to like the video, make sure you've subscribed, and comment on the video, and you're entered to win. Make sure you enter. All right, the Daily Dad crew, thanks for watching. Thank you, Richard Carter, for showing us your collection. It was awesome. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Guys, I promise the mini chopper is almost done. We are filming it. We have a video coming soon. I can't wait to show you guys. The small details wrapping up. Can't wait to show you. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the NBA are gonna love it. Can't wait to show them. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching The Daily Dad.